Good morning. Okay. Last week we just read Atta Niggaha. We are going to discuss Kathavattu this morning. So I hope everybody of you got this translation, right? So what I'm going to do is, we will just read slowly and try to understand, and also where necessary we will look at the Pali text and then go through it. Now if you look at what I have done in this translation is actually, although you have an English translation, what I did was not exactly translation, but in order for you to understand the basic matter and also the argument, I have kind of paraphrased it. So it is a kind of summary, but in a way it is a little more straightforward than the translated text. So we will just go through from the beginning, although we have done that part last week, just to refresh your memory. So we will start with the first page introduction. I will quickly go through it. According to the commentary, Vajjiputtakas and Sammitiyas held this view, in addition to the teachers outside the Sasana. So Pudgalavada is discussed in this chapter. Pudgalavada was held in the Buddha Sasana by Vajjiputtakas and Sammitiyas. And also Pudgalavada is very close to Atmavada. So it was held by teachers in other religious traditions. Puggala in this context means soul, being, or vital principle. Vital principle is jiva. So it is atta, satto, jivo. So this is what Pudgala means. Now, although the word Pudgala is used in the Buddhist texts, Buddha himself referring to Eka Puggalo, Dve Puggala and so on. In this context, Puggala means soul, okay? Now, that is why it is wrong. Otherwise, you can... whole point of Puggala Panyatti in Abhidhamma is, some people really think why Puggala Panyatti, like book like Puggala Panyatti found in Abhidhamma. Actually, Abhidhamma wants to talk about not Puggala, but Puggala Panyatti. So, in a way, Puggala Panyatti is a text that shows, if at all you want to talk about Puggala, how you do that correctly. That's why Puggala Panyatti. So, in other words, you are not talking about Puggala, you are talking about the concept of Puggala. Concept of Puggala, okay? So, in the same thing. The debate starts with 8 refutations. 4 from the Theravadi, that means Sakavadi, and 4 from the other Paravadi. 2 claims in the debate. Person is known in the sense of a real and ultimate fact. Number 2, the person is known in the same way as a real and ultimate fact is known. Now, these are the 2 claims around which the entire discussion goes on. Person is known in the sense of real and ultimate fact. Puggalo upalabhati satchikatta paramattena. And then second is, the person is known in the same way as real and ultimate fact is known. Yo satchikatto paramatto tatoso puggalo upalabhati satchikatta paramattena. Then I give the arguments answer in the following manner. Now we did that part. The procedure of the debate is as follows. Examination of reality purely, Suddhi Satchikatta. Suddhi Satchikatta is given in 8 refutations. First refutation, I'm just going through, we did this last week, okay, so I'm not going to discuss too much. Sakavadi begins the argument and imposes refutation on Paravadi, because Paravadi accepts P but denies Q. Affirmative presentation, that is Anuloma. Now, number 2 is, Paravadi argues that if Sakavadi accepts the denial of P, then he must also accept the denial of Q, and imposes revision on Sakavadi, that is Patikamma. Then number 3, Based on the argument in number 2, Paravadi imposes refutation on Sakavadi, Niggaha. Paravadi says that refutation imposed on him by Sakavadi is unjustified, Upanayana. Paravadi says that the refutation imposed by him on Sakavadi is justified, and that is revision and sequel to the argument is well done, Nigamana. Now, this is what Sakavadi starts and Paravadi goes on. Sakavadi begins and Paravadi concludes. Now, the second refutation is Paravadi begins the argument and imposes refutation on Sakavadi because he denies P but does not deny Q. Adverse controversy, that is Patiloma. Sakavadi argues that if Paravadi accepts P, then he must also accept Q and imposes revision on Paravadi, Patikamma. Based on the argument in number 2, Sakavadi imposes refutation on Paravadi, Nigga. Then you have Upanayana. Paravadi says that refutation imposed on him by Paravadi is unjustified. Sakavadi says that the refutation imposed by him on Paravadi is justified, and that his revision and sequel to the argument is well done, Nigamana. Now, this is the two basic arguments. First one, very first one, Sakavadi starts, Paravadi concludes. Second one, Paravadi starts, Sakavadi concludes. And then third, fourth, and fifth refutations are on the same argument in 5 steps is presented by Sakavadi, referring to space. Is the person known everywhere in the sense of real and ultimate? Time. Is the person known always? Aspects. Is the person known in everything in that sense? So you have 3, 4, 5. And then the 6, 7, 8, the Paravadi presents the argument in negative form, referring to space, time, and aspects. Now, this is what is called Attaniggaha. So, this is called also Suddha Sachikatta, because you take the concept of Pudgala without connecting to anything, and then you have these 8 refutations. So, 8 means 4 for Sakavadi and 4 for Paravadi. So, Sakavadi has 4, 1 pure argument, and then connected to space, time, and aware aspects. Same thing for Paravadi. You remember, as I said the other day, by looking at only Attaniggaha, or even the whole thing, you cannot really decide who is really winning the argument or who is losing, anything like that. In the process of argument, both Sakavadi and Paravadi given equal opportunities. So in that sense, it's a very reasonable debate. You know, nobody is winning or nobody is, losing at the expense of the other. But when we go on, ultimately both refer to the statements by the Buddha in support of them. But even in that, statements supporting, each group thinking that these statements support them, ultimately they depend on, this category of nitatha and neyatha. Now, that's a very important thing. In the entire Buddhist debate, in the Kathavattu, the most crucial point is, how to decide nitatha and neyatha. Because what the Buddha taught is there, but the important thing is how you interpret it, how you understand it. I think in this series of discussions, I have been always telling you this matter of interpretation is very important in the Buddhist studies. In fact, entire Kathavattu thing is a matter of interpretation ultimately. Because the very last point is to quote what the Buddha said. But interestingly, both sides have what the Buddha said. So, it is one way to go will be like, you can go to the number of quotations each party can present. But, that is not a very successful way to go about. And so each party has what the Buddha said for its support. Then ultimately depends on, the interpretation, how you understand what the Buddha said. So now that is why this matter of interpretation, how to understand what the Buddha said, depending on the context, the person, the situation, all these things are very important. Now, actually, if you look at the matter of interpretation in a broad manner, that's a very important thing, even in the formation of Mahayana and particularly Mahayana tradition. Because entire Mahayana tradition is ultimately depends on this whole concept of, how to interpret what the Buddha said. So, they said that, Buddha said certain things to suit certain people. Buddha said, so nothing was rejected. So there are certain things for the Shravakas, certain things for the Pratyeka Buddhas, certain things for the Bodhisattvas. Okay. Now, it's a matter of interpretation ultimately, how you really look at what the Buddha said. So in a way, the origin of Mahayana was justified in the Buddhist tradition based on this. So you can see that this Nitatta Neyatta category is very important. Okay, so that is up to the Atta Niggaha. Okay, now we will go to the next one. My handout, page number 2, bottom. Comparison of person with other realities purely. That's called Suddhika Sansandana. Comparison of person with other realities purely. In this analysis, the concept of Pudgala is examined by joining it with 57 phenomena. Panchakkhanda, Dwadasa Ayatana, Attarasa Dhatu, and Bhavi Sitindriya, 22 Indriyas. So, Khanda, Dhatu, Ayatana, and Indriya. Now, Indriya is, there is this not Pancha Indriya, but Bhavi Sitindriya, 22 Indriyas that come in the longer list. Sakavadi begins the debate with connecting Pudgala to Rupa, material form. If Pudgala is known in real and ultimate sense, Rupa too is known in real and ultimate sense. Is Rupa one or Pudgala another? Paravadi denies this, and then Sakavadi's Niggaha is imposed on following modus ponens and modus tollens forms of argument. The same is repeated for the rest of the 56 phenomena. So in order to understand this, maybe we don't need the computer for today. Now it goes like this. Puggalo upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, rupancha upalabhati satchikatta paramattena. Amanta. Anyang rupang anyo puggaloti nahevang vattabbe. So Sakavadi begins with the debate. Puggalo upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, rupancha upalabhati satchikatta paramattena. Rupa is found in satchikatta paramatta. Then Paravadi says yes. Anyang rupang anyang puggaloti. Then Sakavadi's question is, Rupa is one, Pudgala is another. Then Paravadi says, Nahevang vattabbe. Then Ajanahi Niggahan. Hanchi, Puggala upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, Rupancha upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, Tena vata re vattabbe, Anyang rupang anyang puggaloti. Yantas tattavadesi, Vattabbe ko Puggala upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, Rupancha upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, Nocha vattabbe anyang rupang anyang puggaloti micha. Now this same argument, the form of the argument, you must be able to see what I earlier described as modus ponens and modus tollens. Now, if you say P, then you will have to say Q. Now, simply it says that Puggala upalabhati satchikatta paramattena. If you say Puggala is known as a real and ultimate sense, Rupancha upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, then Rupa is also known real and ultimate sense, because Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana are khandhas, part of the Puggala. Then to that Paravadi says yes. And then when Sakavadi asks Anyam Rupam Anyam Puggaloti, are these two different things? Then of course he say no. Now you know that the argument goes in this manner. Then he says you should not say so. If you say Pudgala is known in real and ultimate sense, Rupa is known in real and ultimate sense. Basic argument form you must be able to see, because when we understand that, we can really just quickly go through the whole thing. So it's something like this. Puggala upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, Rupancha upalabhati satchikatta paramattena. We say if Puggala is known satchikatta paramatta, then Rupa is also known in satchikatta paramatta. Now this is the basic thing. Puggala upalabhati satchikatta paramattena, Rupancha upalabhati satchikatta paramattenati. Anyam Rupam Anyam Puggaloti. Now, this is basically how the argument goes. If Puggala is known in Satchikatta Paramatta, then Rupa is also known Satchikatta Paramatta. Then, if it is known, then Sakavadi's claim is Rupa is one, Puggala is another. But then Paravadi doesn't want to say that. Anyam Rupam Anyam Puggaloti Nehevang Vattabbe. Then you have this description, Hanchi Puggala Upalabhati and so on. If Puggala is known in real and ultimate sense, then Rupa must also be known in real and ultimate sense. For you to say Rupa is known in real and ultimate sense, but Rupa and Puggala are not two different things, then you are wrong. So this is how basically the argument goes. So Sakavadi seem to say that if Paravadi accepts Rupa is known in real and ultimate sense, Puggala is also known, then two are two different things. But Paravadi doesn't want to say that. Logically, it looks like if two are known, then two must be two different things. If Puggala is known in that manner, then Rupa is also known Satchikatta Paramatta. So the interesting thing is, Paravadi doesn't want to admit that they are two different things. Okay? Because now that is why Paravadi's position is also, we have to understand very carefully, because Paravadi doesn't think that Rupa can exist without Puggala, or Puggala can exist without Rupa. Now the same argument goes for all the 57 things. Okay? Now if you write the whole argument completely, this Suddhika Sansandana can be really a long thing. But if you understand one argument, then of course you understand the entire whole thing. Because you have these 57 things that are related to Puggala. So on these 57 things, the argument is faced. Is that clear now? So then that is basically comparison of person with other realities purely. So that is about the 57 things. Then Paravadi begins, on page 3, Paravadi begins with the negative assertion of Sakavadi. Puddgala is not known in the real and ultimate sense and connects with the statement of the Buddha, Atti Puggalo, Attahitaya Patipanno, and questions. The Buddha has said Atti Puggalo, Attahitaya Patipanno, and Rupa is known in real and ultimate sense. Yes, Rupa is one, Puddgala is another. No. Paravadi argument follow the same MP and MT forms of arguments and repeats it for the rest of the 56 phenomena. Now, it's very interesting. Paravadi also follows a similar thing. Paravadi begins with the negative assertion, namely Puddgala is not known in the real and ultimate sense, and connects it with the statement of the Buddha, Atti Puggalo, Attahitaya Patipanno. Now he first asks, Puddgala is not known in the real and ultimate sense. Then Sakavadi says, yes. Yes means, yes, Puddgala is not known. Then Paravadi asks, did the Buddha say, Atti Puggalo, Attahitaya Patipanno, and so on? Then Sakavadi says, yes, Buddha said that. Then Paravadi says, Rupa is one, Puddgala is another. Then you have to say Rupa is one, Puddgala is another. Because Buddha has spoken about Attahitaya Patipanno Puggalo. Then Sakavadi says no. So, argument goes on back and forth. Now, Paravadi's argument follows the same modus ponens and modus tollens forms of argument. Then I have NB means not well. In the fourfold analysis, Suddha, Okasa, Kala, Avayava, what is analyzed here is only the Suddha with regard to the 57 phenomena. And the same phenomena can be examined with reference to Okasa and Kala. But Avayava analysis cannot be applicable for the simple reason that the subject matter here is the 57 phenomena that are taken as Avayava. Now, please read that carefully. Now, we have 57 things here. So, 57 things, on 57 things, Paravadi argues, Sakavadi argues. Now, if we really have to follow all the arguments, then you have to have 57 arguments for Sakavadi, 57 arguments for Paravadi. But, you don't have to have it like that because, when you do one or two, you understand. But then the interesting thing is that is Suddha. What about Okasa and Kala? Now, same 57 arguments can be presented in Okasa. Puddgala is known everywhere. Rupa is the same everywhere. And then Kala, all the time. So, Suddha, Okasa, Kala. And then Avayava. Avayava is not applicable here because Avayava are really Panchakkhandha, Dvadasayatana, Tarasadhatu, and Bhavi Sitindriya. So they are really applicable, the debate goes on Avayava aspects, all 57. Okay, so therefore in this argument there is no separate section for Avayava. But arguments can be presented the same argument based on the Okasa and Kala and Suddha. So in other words, we have 57 multiplied into 3 for Sakavadi, 57 multiplied into 3 for Paravadi. Is that clear? Yeah. It can be really the long Suddhika Sansandana can be a really long thing. But of course, last argument in that category is presented by Paravadi. Puggalo nupalabbati sacchikatta paramatthenati. I'm looking at, I think we are all looking at the Burmese text. I don't know exactly the number, but you can locate the number. Puggalo Nupalabbat Sachikatta Paramattenati Amanta. Vuttam Bhagavata Ati Puggalo Atihitaya Patipanno. Yeah. Anyatavindriyancha upalabdhat Sachikatta Paramattenati Amanta. Now this is the very last one. Anyatavitindriya. Anyatavitindriyan upalabdhati Sachikatta Paramattenati Amanta. Anyang anyatavindriyan anyo puggaloti nahevang vattabbe. Ajanahi patikamma. You know, the same argument goes on for all 57. So this is basically how you know, these very important 57 aspects are used in this argument. Now, when you look at Pudgala is known in Sachikatta Paramatta, Rupa is also known in Sachikatta Paramatta. Now, when you look at this argument, now, in a way, we cannot talk about Pudgala without reference to Panchakanda or Dwadasa Ayatana. But then how are we going to understand this? You know, philosophically, what is important here is to see the connection between we talk about part whole relationship. Now, this is basically the question, how the parts are connected to whole. Right part. Now we have Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Now this is, we just take Panchakanda analysis. We have, and then we talk about Pudgala. Now, you know, basically the philosophical question behind this, how the parts are connected to the whole. So you have the concept of Pudgala. The first concept of Pudgala is spoken of as Panchakanda. Now the whole issue is there something called Pudgala over and above Panchakanda? Although we use this word, you know, it's the same argument. You remember in the Sanyutta Nikaya you have Yathahi Anga Sambhara Hoti Saddo Ratho iti. Evan Khandesu Santesu Hoti Sattoti Sammuti. Remember? Okay, I think it comes in Vajra Bhikkhuni's statement. Yathahi Anga Sambhara, like with the collection of parts. Yatahi Anga Sambhara Hoti Saddo Ratho iti. There is this word called Ratha. I will write that if you don't remember it. Yatahi Anga Sambhara Hoti Saddo Ratho iti. Evan Khandesu Santesu Saddhoti Sambhoti. Anga Sambhara. Anga means parts. Sambhara means collection. From the collection of Anga, so parts, Hoti Saddo Ratho iti. There occurs the word Ratha. So, I mean, you use the word Ratha in order to indicate Anga Sambhara, collection of the parts. Evan Khandesu Santesu. Evan in this manner. Khandesu Santesu, when the skandhas are present, Hoti Sattoti Sammuti. Sammuti is convention, agreement, like the word. So, same thing is, you know, like you have the Ratha or vehicle, But ultimately, vehicle can be analyzed or reduced into whole collection of parts. Now the same thing here, we have Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana, and then we have Pudgala. The issue is, can we talk about Pudgala without reference to Khandha Dhatu and Ayatana, or Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana? Now, of course, you know, at the analytical linguistic level, we use the word Pudgala, and then we use the word Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana. However, word Pudgala is only a reference, I mean like name to refer to the collection and the organization of the five khandhas. But if you analyze the five khandhas into five things, then what is called Pudgala disappears. So Pudgala operates really in the language level. You know, this is a kind of interesting philosophical question. I remember in Western philosophy, I think I referred to the other day also, this Oxford scholar who wrote about the concept of mind. He gives this very interesting example. He says that, okay, suppose a friend of him coming to see Oxford University. Then, you know, he want to see Oxford. Then you take him around and show, okay, this is the library, this is the lecture hall, and, you know, you take him completely around and show all the things. And then at the end of this tour, if the friend asks, okay, you showed me the library, you showed me the lecture halls, you showed me the cafeteria, you showed me the hostels, but you didn't show me University of Oxford. Now, where is University of Oxford? Now, if the friend asks that question, what are you going to say? Can you show him University of Oxford over and above, away from these things? Somebody come to see Sitagu International Academy. You show, okay, this is Gandhara, this is Lumbini, and you know, okay. So now if he asks, where is Sitagu International Academy? Now the whole question anticipates something like, you think that there is something over and above these things. So you see, ultimately problem is linguistic. Problem is logical problem, conceptual problem. How are we going to connect the part-whole relationship? Now this whole thing is, the issue is linguistic, because whenever we have a noun, we think that this noun has a reference. Usually language, you know, particularly the words have basically two things. In English, we say words have sense, and then words have reference. Words have a sense. Sense mean meaning. Reference means object. Now usually in language this is the norm. We have a word. Now we say chair. What is the sense? What is the meaning? We can say chair is something we use to sit on. Okay, that is the sense. What is the reference? Object. You show the object. That's the reference, okay? We say pen. What is the sense? A writing instrument. What is the reference? Reference is this. It refers to. Okay? So words usually have sense and reference. You take any noun, you can say lecture hall. What is the sense? Reference is this place. You say asanga, you have a meaning, it refers to a person. What is the reference? Okay, this is him. You have a person here, right? Now, in language, we think that usually when there is a name, there is a reference. But interestingly, there are some names without reference. Like what? Like what? Like Puggala. Puggala has a sense, but where is the reference? I mean, if you at all to refer to Puggala, then you have to refer to Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana. It's like Oxford University. You know, you can refer to individual things, but there is no one particular thing called Oxford University. You know, it is a concept. If the present location of Oxford University is no good, you can move the Oxford University. How do you move? Taking the buildings? No. You build new buildings, but you say, now then Oxford University is somewhere. What did you take? It's only a concept, right? So, you know, this sense and reference makes us to think that usually names have something that refers to. So, whole Buddhist point is like when you say Atma, it has a meaning, but there is no reference, right? Can't you look at the problem of Atma in that same sense? And then when the Buddha says that Natti me atta, I do not have Atma, or Attaniva, Attaniyena. Now when you say I, now this is noun in language, right? But then does it have a reference? Okay, I use it to refer to me, you use it to refer to you, but what is the meaning of I? Now the problem is, Buddhist whole concept of Atmavada can be reduced. People believe that there is a reference behind the word I. Whereas there is no reference, we just call something I. But what is I? I is, you know, your own construction and creation. I does not have any particular reference, right? It ultimately refers to any person who is using the word I. That's all. But then to believe that there is something called I is Atmavada. Isn't it? So whenever you start thinking that I, you know, it goes wrong. And whenever moment you think that I want to become an Arahant, come on. It's not going to happen because you are affirming your I. But the moment you give up your I, then of course you could become an Arahant. So, you know, like that. Now, ultimately this, you know, this whole problem, Suddhika Sansandana, we can see that it's a problem of language. How we understand the concept. So usually in the language we have the meaning and we always have objects. But you know, there are many nouns in the language without that kind of particular object. Even if there is object, actually when we, like, you know, okay, I can say I refers to me. But when analyze this I, you know, ultimately it comes into Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana and, you know, many other things. Okay. So this is basically the question. So ultimately we can analyze this whole thing as something of a part-whole relationship. How the parts are related to the whole. Can whole exist without parts? Okay. So is that clear to you? So this whole Suddhika Sansandana analysis is something like that. Very long one actually, but you know, it has been abbreviated. But because I discussed these two forms of arguments with you, modus ponens and modus tollens type, but you know, that is the same type of argument that goes on the whole thing. So we will move on. Third mode is the comparison by way of analogy. Comparison by way of analogy is called Opamma Sansandana. Opamma Sansandana. In your book, is it? I should learn how to read the Burmese numbers still, so but what is the number? 18. 18. 18, right? 15, 15. Okay, 15, 16, okay, 17, 18, 19. Okay, 20. All right, that makes sense. Opam Sansandana. The existence of 57 phenomena is taken as analogous to the existence of the alleged Pudgala and examined based on the question, is Rupa one, Pudgala another? Now when I say existence of the alleged Pudgala, actually that English usage, I hope you understand. When you say alleged Pudgala means actually it is, Pudgala doesn't exist. It's like something like, in English we say, so-called Pudgala. Alleged Pudgala is something like, because when I say alleged Pudgala, I mean it shows that we don't believe in the existence of Pudgala, but others believe. So that's what we show by this. Existence of the 57 phenomena taken as analogous, comparable to the existence of the alleged Pudgala, and examined based on the question, is Rupa one, Pudgala another? The argument rests on the view that both Rupa and Vedana as ultimate realities exist, and also they are different from each other. However, based on the similarity of those phenomena, one cannot couple Pudgala alone which is without reality. Alone with those phenomena, the argument follows empty and empty forms of argument. Paravadi proceeds with the same assertion of the existence of 57 phenomena and couples his assertion with the Buddha's statement Atipuggalo Attahitaya Patipanno and questions, is Rupa one, Puggala another? The argument follows from the same modus ponens and modus tollens forms of argument. Okay. Now, in these two modes of debate, what is involved are the idea of reality of the Dhammas accepted by both Sakavadi and Paravadi, and the concept of Puggala not accepted by Sakavadi. The statement Atipuggalo Attahitaya Patipanno is understood by Sakavadi as Neyatha, by Paravadi as Nitatta. Now again, this Opamma Sansandana is very interesting. You have same 57 phenomena we discussed earlier. So the question is Puggala one, Puggala is one, Rupa is one, Puggala is another. Argument rests on the view that both Rupa and Vedana ultimate realities exist. Now interestingly, both Sakavadi and Paravadi accept Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana exist as ultimate realities. Okay? Now this is the concept of Dharma. Dharmavada I referred to earlier in my Nagarjuna discussion, also I referred to it. So the whole issue is both Sakavadi and Paravadi, of course in little bit different two senses, accept that dharmas exist. So for the both Sakavadi and Paravadi, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana exist really. But the problem is, according to their belief, what exists really is combined with what doesn't exist, namely Pudgala. And then, you try to impose the existence that is with Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana also to the Pudgala, but which of course you can't do. So the existence of 57 phenomena. So the argument rests on the view that both Rupa and Vedana as ultimate realities exist. And also they are different from each other. Now, Opamma Sansandana. Rupang upalabbati satchikatta paramattena. Vedanacha upalabbati satchikatta paramattenati. Anyang Rupang anyang Vedanati amanta. Now, for that, Paravadi says yes. Sakavadi asked the question, Rupang upalabbati satchikatta paramattena. Rupa is known in the real and ultimate sense. Vedanacha upalabbati satchikatta paramattena. Vedana is also known real and ultimate sense. Anyang Rupang anyang Vedanati. Rupa is one, Vedana is another. To which Paravadi says yes. Then the next question of Sakavadi, Puggalo upalabbati satchikatta paramattena, Rupancha upalabbati satchikatta paramattena. Yeah, that question is also acceptable to Paravadi. Puggala is known in ultimate sense, Rupa is Anyang rupang anyang puggaloti nahevang vattabbe. But then for that question, Paravadi says, don't say so. Now again, you can see, now in this real debate, Sakavadi want to see really the Paravadi can get caught. Okay? Because if Paravadi is not very careful about the shift of the meaning of the concept, Paravadi is in trouble. Because, here, Rupancha upalabbhati, Vedanacha upalabbhati, yes. And then, next question, is Rupa different from Vedana? Yes. So, both are okay. But when the question is coupled, and then also the next question is, Rupancha upalabdha satchakatta paramattena puggalo upalabhati. Yeah, that is also okay for Paravadi. Because Paravadi believes that Pudgala exists in real and ultimate sense. Rupa is also exists in the real and ultimate sense. However, the fourth question, Anyang Rupang Anyang Puggaloti. Now that is the tricky question. If you say yes to that, then you believe in something to exist over and above Rupa. Now the Sakavadi and Paravadi positions are very interesting. Neither Sakavadi nor Paravadi want to accept this part-whole relationship indicate two different things, right? But then Sakavadi thinks that if the manner Paravadi argues, he should really accept two different things. But Paravadi doesn't accept that. So according to Paravadi also, Paravadi cannot say Anyang Rupang Anyang Puggaloti. Can you see the argument? So now, if Paravadi gets off guard or something, then he gets caught. He is in trouble. So this is really a very subtle conceptual analysis, right? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana exist as Dhammas. So they are different from each other. Okay? So that is number one. Number two, they are different from each other. And also for Paravadi, Rupa is known in the real and ultimate sense. Pudgala is also known in the real and ultimate sense. That also is okay. But the next question, the fourth question, is the problematic one. Pudgala is one, Rupa is another. So for that, nahevang vattabbe. So, this is how the argument goes. Now, with the rest of the thing, of course, if you understand that basic thing, you can understand the whole comparison by way of analogy. Now, in this, the very last paragraph, in these two modes of debate, what is involved are the idea of reality of Dhammas accepted by both and the concept of Pudgala not accepted by Sakavadi. So the reality of Dhamma is accepted by both Sakavadi and Paravadi, but the reality of Pudgala is not accepted by the Sakavadi. The statement Atti Puggalo Attahitaya Patipanno is understood by Sakavadi as Neyatha, Paravadi as Nitattha. Now, as I said earlier, entire debate goes on ultimately same statement. Both accept that Buddha said Atti Puggalo Attahitaya Patipanno. But the problem is what the Buddha really mean by that. Now then we are led to problem of interpretation. Okay, so is that clear? Then that argument also goes for, Opamma Sansadana goes for all the 57 things. Then we have Chatukka Naya Sansandana. Chatukka Naya Sansandana. Chatukka Naya means fourfold method. Both Sakavadi and Paravadi use the concept identity, mutual inseparability, difference between the Pudgala and the 57 phenomena to support their position. Both Sakavadi and Paravadi use the concepts identity, mutual inseparability, and difference. These are the three concepts. Now it goes like Puggalo upalabhati sacchikatta paramattena rupang puggaloti nahevang mattabbe. Ajanahi niggahang, and it goes. Puggalo upalabhati sacchikatta paramattena rupasmin puggaloti. Then the next one, Puggalo upalabhati sacchikatta paramattena amanta vedana puggalocha vedana, and so on. So actually this Chatukkanaya is Rupang Puggaloti identity. So we have these 4 questions here. Rupang Puggaloti. Rupang Puggaloti, Rupasmin Puggaloti, Puggalasmin Rupanti. So what we have here is basically when you say Rupang Puggaloti, the connection is identity between the two. Identity. The relationship is identity. Now, Rupasmin Puggaloti, Puggalasmin Rupanti, what's called mutual inseparability. Anyatra Rupa Puggaloti, that is difference between Pudgala and the 57 phenomena. So this is the connection is difference. Now these are the 4 different Chatukkanaya. Now this is interesting. The way the relationship has been viewed. So both Sakavadi and Paravadi use the concept identity, Rupam Puggaloti, and so on, whether the Pudgala and Rupa are identical. Mutual inseparability, that means Rupasmin Pudgalo, Pudgalasmin Rupam, whether the Pudgala is in Rupa or Rupa is in Pudgala. And then difference between the Pudgala and Anyatra Rupa Pudgaloti, so Pudgali is away from, over and above from the Rupa. If identity and difference too are taken as mutual, as in the case of inseparability, there can be 6 methods. But why identity and difference are not taken in that way is because these two are always mutual and not needing any special mention. Now, do you see that point? Because you have mutual inseparability only for inseparability. But then identity and difference are not taken in that manner simply because identity and difference are not taken because these two are always mutual and not needing special mention. When you say identity, you are talking about two different things. And difference is also, you are talking about two different things. So therefore you don't need separately mention that. Sakavadi says that if Pudgala is known in real and ultimate sense, Rupa must be identical with Pudgala. The Paravadi denies this identity and the other three relations. Paravadi argues with the denial of Sakavadi coupled with the Buddha's statement Atipuggalo. The way of argument is similar to the one used in the previous method. So here only the difference is with the same 57 things we still go. But same 57 things are to same 57 things, these four questions are connected. So the identity, mutual inseparability, and difference. Now you can see again, if you really do the complete argument, each 57 things each one has four different statements. So four different statements multiplied into 57. That's for Sakavadi. Paravadi also the same thing, 57 things apply to these four questions, and then, argument goes on. So Venables, is not, if you understand the basic logical structure of the argument, this is not at all a difficult thing, because it's the same thing that goes on. But the interesting thing is, when we discuss two different things, how you see this connection can be established. Like identity is one, mutual inseparability is one, and then difference is another. Now, if you take this concept, identity, mutual inseparability, and difference, these concepts are very important. How these concepts are being used in the Buddhist tradition as categories. What I mean by categories is, now in order to understand the relationship between two, one way to see is, whether the relation is one of identity. You are talking about two different things. Are they identical? Or are they different? And then, can they be separated from each other? But of course, if they are different, naturally they are separated. If they are identical, they are not separated. So, you have these three abstract concepts used in this context, right? So, the identity, difference, and mutual inseparability. So, 57 things can be understood along with the Pudgala in order to determine the nature of the connection. So you can see that in a way, analysis is extremely minute, right? Because you take all the possible things when you say Pudgala, and then see the nature of connections. So you can't say analysis is, superficial or anything. No. You go really deep into the analysis of Pudgala, and then you try to see how, Pudgala is understood in relation to these things. So these three, Chatukka Naya, so these are called Naya. Naya means methods. So different categories in more, in a way, suitable language. So these are categories. These categories are used in relation to the 57 phenomena to understand the nature of Pudgala. So, all these things ultimately apply to 57 phenomena, and they apply to in relation to Pudgala. So this is what basically happens. So in order to understand all three modes so far we discussed, we need to see this. One is the 57 aspects that are taken to constitute the Pudgala, and also the logical form of the argument, how presented, modus ponens and modus tollens type of argument. Okay, we will take a short break before we proceed, but I will take, if you have any inquiries or questions about this thing, anything you don't, anything not clear? Pardon me? Okay, then we will take a short break, but you come up with questions towards the end. Okay. Okay. Next, we will move into what is called Lakkhana Yuktikatha, examination by way of associated characteristics. Here the issue is examined with reference to 4 pairs of characteristics that may be attributed to phenomena, namely with conditions or without conditions, sappacce, appacce, constructed or unconstructed, sankata or asankata, eternal or non-eternal, sassata or asassata, and with external features or without external features, sanimitta, animitta. Now again, this is another way of looking at these 57 phenomena. You take, you look at the particular phenomena from Lakkhana, characteristics. Lakkhanas are basically sappacce, appacce, whether something is sappacce or appacce, whether something has pacchaya or conditions for it, or it doesn't have conditions for it, sappacce, appacce. Constructed or unconstructed, whether any of these things is sankhata, constructed, or asankhata, whether these things are sankhata, asankhata. Eternal or non-eternal, sassata or asassata, sassata eternal, asassata non-eternal. And with external features and without external features, sanimitta, animitta, nimitta. So these are Lakkhana, characteristics. Now again, as we had in Chatukka Nayasansandana, we had there these identity, inseparability and difference, these categories. In a similar manner, here we have 4 different Lakkhanas, 4 different characteristics, usually attributed to things. So, sappacce, appacce, sankata, sankata, sassata, sassata, and sanimitta, animitta. Paravadi rejects that these characteristics are applicable to Puggala. Now, Paravadi, Sakavadi asks whether Puggala is sappacce, appacce, sassata, asassata, and so on. Paravadi rejects that these characteristics are applicable to Puggala. Although the reasons for his rejections are not made clear, it is clear that if we accept, for instance, sappacce as applicable to Puggala, then he treats it as any other conditioned phenomena subject to all the characteristics shared by conditioned phenomena. On the other hand, if we accept appacce unconditioned, then he is putting Puggala on par with Nirvana, which is the only asankata for both Sakavadi and Paravadi. Sakavadi's rejection seems to be based on the fact that Puggala does not exist for him in real sense. Now, it's very interesting. Paravadi rejects that these characteristics are applicable to Puggala. Puggalo upalabhati satchikatta paramattenati amanta. Puggalo sappaccayo, Puggalo appaccayo, Puggalo sankato, Puggalo asankato. So on. Then he says, Puggalo sanimitto, Puggalo animitto. For all these 8 positions, he says, Nahevang Mattabbi. Now, we are not told why Paravadi doesn't want to say Pudgala is Sappache or Appache. But when you examine clearly, you can see that if Paravadi says Pudgala is Sappache, Sappache means conditions. Now, if conditions are applicable to Pudgala, then what happens is all these other things in the world are also conditioned things. Right? Now, conditions things are Anicca, Dukkha and Anatta. So, if the Paravadi accept that Pudgala is Sappache, then Paravadi is putting Pudgala on a similar basis, on par with any other constructed phenomena. That Pudgala doesn't want to do. I mean, that Paravadi doesn't want to do that. Because then, Paravadi is reducing the Pudgala concept into any other concept. Then there is no difference between Pudgala and anything else, right? So Paravadi doesn't want to say Pudgala is Sappache. But on the other hand, Paravadi doesn't want to say Pudgala is Appache. Appache means without conditions. So without conditions, according to Buddhism, there is only one, namely Nirvana. And that is accepted by both Sakavadi and Paravadi to be Appache, right? So then Paravadi doesn't want to say Pudgala in the category of Appache, and also he doesn't want to put Pudgala in the category of Sappache. You see? So to both these things he says no. Now these same things, Sappache, Appache, now the same thing for Sankata and Asankata. Now Paravadi doesn't want to say Pudgala is Sankata. Then Sankata is constructed thing, so it will become like any other constructed thing, right? Then Sankatang, Viparinamang, Anichang, Dukkhang and so on, all these characteristics are applicable. And Asankata is usually Nirvana. So you don't want to put the Pudgala on par with Nirvana also. So Paravadi cannot say yes to either. Same thing with eternal or non-eternal. Actually, that's a different thing, Sassata or Asassata. Now, according to Buddhism, you cannot really talk about anything as Sassata or Asassata. Right? You can talk about certain things as Sankata and Asankata, but Sassata and Asassata are not applicable, according to Buddhism, anything. Right? Because you can never say things in the world are Sassata, everlasting. Or when you say Asassata, what happens is you are saying that things in the world are destroyed at the death. Uchchedavada. So whenever you say Sassata and Asassata, Asassata means Uchchedavada. So Paravadi doesn't want to accept any of those things either. So Sassata, Asassata and Sanimitta, Animitta. Again, Animitta is only Nirvana. Now, if you put Sanimitta with external features, again you are putting Pudgala on par with other things. Now, you see, it is very interesting. The Pudgalavadins have to be philosophically very sharp. You can see the level of debate goes on, because both the level of debate is like, debate is based on the very important doctrinal points. So you have to know all these. What is the implication of when you say something is Sappache, something is Sankata, something is Sanimitta? You have to know the implications. And then furthermore, amidst all these things, when you put Sassata, either way you are in trouble. Right? Because usually this Sassata, both categories are rejected in Buddhism, both categories are not accepted. Now, if that is the situation, you can't say. So, what I want to show you is Sassata are rejected on different grounds. Other three categories are rejected in different grounds. Paravadi rejected these characteristics are applicable to Pudgala. Okay, now I explained it to you. Although the reasons for his rejection are not made clear, it is clear that if he accepts Sappache as applicable to Pudgala, then he treats it as any other conditioned phenomena. subject to all the characteristics shared by conditioned phenomena. On the other hand, if he accepts appacchaya unconditioned, then he is putting Pudgala on par with Nirvana, which is the only asankata for both Sakavadi and Paravadi. Sakavadi's rejection seems to be based on the fact that Pudgala does not exist for him in real sense. Now Sakavadi. The commentarial explanation is the following. Commentary says, Tattha yasma paravadina suttavasena sammuti satchang saditam sammutiyacha sappacchayadibhavo natti tasma yathavatocha patikhepo sakavadis. Commentary page 22. Tattha yasma sakavadina suttavasena sammuti satchang. Now, in the Katavattu Pakarana, it doesn't say why Paravadi rejects these things. So when we look at commentary, we can see what the commentary says is, Tatte Atma Paravadina Suttavasena Sammuti Satchan Saditan. So he quotes Sutta and he wants to establish the Sammuti Satcha. Sammutiyachapana sappacchayadibhavo natti. So sammutiyachapana sammutiyacha sappacchayadibhavo natti. There is no sappacchaya condition such as sappacchaya for sammuti. Tasma yathavatocha patikhe for sakavadis. So Sakavadi's rejection is correct. That's what the commentary says. But basically when you look at the argument, both Sakavadi and Paravadi presents, I think the reason Paravadi rejects the argument is basically that. Puggalo nupalabbati sachikatta paramatthenati amanta. Uttam bhagavata atti puggalo attahitaya patipannoti amanta. Puggalo sappaccheo, puggalo appaccheo. Puggalo sankato, puggalo asankato, and so on. Now when it comes to the Paravadi asks from the Sakavadi, puggalo nupalabbati. Is it the case that Puggala is not known in the real and ultimate sense? Sakavadi says yes. Then Paravadi gives Buttang Bhagavata Atti Puggalo Attitaya Patipannoti Amanta. So when Paravadi asks, did the Buddha not say this? No, he said this. Then he asks Puggalo Appaccheo. Puggalo Sappaccheo, Puggalo Appaccheo, and so on. All these four things. And then Sakavadi says, Nahevang Vattabbe. For Sakavadi also, this is Nahevang Vattabbe. You cannot say so, because according to commentary, Sakavadi believes that these characteristics are not applicable to Sammuti Satcha. Okay. They are applicable only to Paramatta Satcha. I'm not honestly very clear about it, because when you say Sammuti Satcha, if you can put everything in the universe under Sammuti Satcha, then certain things can be Sappacche, non-Sammuti Satcha things can be Appacche really. But anyhow, Sakavadi rejects these things as Sappacche, Appacche. I think basically Sakavadi, the Theravadi seems to think that these categories are not applicable to Pudgala, these things, as understood in the Sammuti Satcha. So, two different reasons, two people deny these characteristics. But why Paravadi denies is quite clear, because Paravadi doesn't want to, on the one hand, put Pudgala in the level of other things, but at the same time, he doesn't want to put Pudgala in on par with Asankata Nibbana Dhatu. So he wants to make the distinction. So his position seems to be that Pudgala is neither Sammuti Satcha or something that belongs to the world, but on the other hand, it is not Lokuttara either, something in between. That's why ultimately, in their position, they say that Pudgala is beyond words. Pudgala is ineffable. Now, if you look at Abhidharma Kosha Bhashya, you can see explanation of this Pudgalavada position. So, Pudgalavada position comes from the belief that there is something called which is inexplicable, which can't be explained, which is ineffable. So, that seems to be the Pudgalavada position, but of course, that is not given here. We will move into number 6, clearing the meaning of terms, Vachana Sodhana. What is meant is not exactly clearing the meaning of terms, but an exercise in determining the extent and the limits of the concept involved. In logical language, this method involves distribution of terms and conversion. Now, you know, this particular exercise is very important, part of the debate. It's called Vachana Sodhana. Vachana Sodhana means clarification of terms. Sodhana means washing, wash, cleaning. So, Vachana Sodhana, but actually under Vachana Sodhana what you have is 2 logical exercises. Okay? Under Vachana Sodhana what you have is 2 logical exercises. These 2 logical exercises are, one thing is the distribution of terms and the other one is conversion. Now, look at the example. Sakavadi. Is the Pudgala known, and conversely, is that which is known the Pudgala? Now, in Pali, Puggalo upalabhati, upalabhati puggaloti. Puggalo upalabhati. Is Pudgala known? Upalabhati puggaloti is what is known is Pudgala. Is the Pudgala known, and conversely is that which is known the Pudgala. Paravadi, the person is known, conversely of that which is known, some is Pudgala, some is not Pudgala. Then Sakavadi says, does that mean that some Pudgala is known and some Pudgala is not known? One should not say so. Now look at, follow that in Pali. Puggalo upalabhati, upalabhati puggaloti. Puggalo upalabhati, upalabhati iti kehichi, puggalo kehichi na puggalo. Paravadi says, Puggalo upalabhati. Puggala is known. Upalabhati iti, upalabhati kehichi puggalo. Among the things that are known, kehichi puggalo, some are Pudgala, kehichi na puggalo, some are non-Pudgala. So, non-Pudgala. Puggalo kehichi upalabhati, kehichi na upalabhati iti. Then Sakavadi asks, Puggalo kehichi upalabhati, kehichi na upalabhati iti. Does that mean that Pudgala is known, some Pudgala is known, some Pudgala is not known? Puggalo kehichi upalabhati, kehichi puggalo na upalabhati. Na evam vattabhi. Now you follow that argument, you know, that's a very interesting, you know, the logical reasoning is there. Number 1 question is Pudgala known in real and ultimate sense? Number 2 is something like now, number 1 question is Pudgala known? Puggalo upalabhati. That's the regular question. Is Pudgala known? Next question is upalabhati puggaloti. That which is known is Pudgala. Now what it means is actually you are having 2 different class of people, groups here. So one thing is Pudgala is known, what is known is Pudgala. And then the second one is if that which is known. So the class of things that are known. So you can have a class of things that are known, like things that are known. Now things that are known, so Upalabbati, Puggaloti, now this is one class, and then we have Pudgala as another class. Okay, now Pudgala is one class, things that are known. So Upalabbati Puggalo is the Pudgala is known, that's one. But when the second one, Puggalo Upalabbati, Upalabbati Puggaloti, what is things that are known is Pudgala. Actually, the logically you can see the difference in the question. Everything that has to be known in the world is Pudgala. Is that the case? Now you see here two different things, but the connection between the two different things is the important thing. So the Sakavadi asked from the Paravadi, the things that are known in the world, is that Pudgala? So that means this particular class of things exhaust or completely occupies the by the Pudgala. So in other words, you want to say that Pudgala equals things that are known. Okay, that is the question. For which Paravadi says no, because this is a much larger category, things to be known in the world. But then here, Pudgala is known. Pudgala is known in the real and ultimate sense. Then the next question he asks is the things that are known in the real and ultimate sense, is that completely exhaust the category of Pudgala. So, is the Pudgala known? Conversely, is that which is known Pudgala? So, whether you can really, the converse is true. Now, we can say simply something like, we can say, all parrots are birds, but all birds are parrots? No, because we can see that it's a relationship is between class and member. So you have the whole class of things, the class of birds, and then you have a subclass of parrots. So whether, how do you want to understand? So you have one class, so it comes within which? Now, if we have something like this, we say that here one thing is Pudgala. Now, the question will be something like, if this whole thing is Pudgala, now whether this is things, we say, that are known. Now, whether these two classes coincide, okay, this is one thing. But the other thing is, Sakavadi asked from the Paravadi, is that which is known is Pudgala? Basically, this means the same thing. But actually, if you look at as two classes, then this class seems to be much larger. Okay. Now, if this class we say things to be known, within this class, Pudgala is one, but of course there are many others. Okay. Now, this whole thing is things to be known. This whole thing is things to be known. In that, we can say Pudgala is one of these things to be known. Okay. Now, this shows that in a way, logically speaking, this is class-member relationship. You have a class, and then you have each members. You have a class of birds, and then you have different parrots, peacocks, and so on, pigeons, different birds. Now, the question is whether you can put the subcategory within the category, or within the category whether you can put the subcategory. Now, if you look at that way, the question is very clear. But the otherwise, puggalo upalabbati, upalabbati puggaloti. So, you know, this logical turn is very subtle. I mean, if you say simply puggalo upalabbati, yes, puggala is known. But when you say upalabbati puggalosi, that which is known is puggala, then if you say yes to it, then that means only thing that you need to know in the universe is puggala. Or puggala includes everything in the universe. All the knowable things are exhausted by puggala. You know, all these implications, unacceptable implications are there. So again, you can see that, you know, there is quite a bit logical exercise here. When you question this, is the puggala known, and conversely, is that which is known puggala? When you ask that question, really the debate is between which concept is more broad, which concepts comes within which, whether puggala comes under all knowable things or whether all knowable things come under puggala. You see? So, if you say yes to any of these questions, you have to know the implications of that. You have to know what you are committing to. So, the person is known conversely of that which is known. Some is puggala, some is not puggala. Now, Paravadi's answer is interesting. Actually, he says, among the things known, some are puggala, some are not puggala. Now, when you say some are not puggala, you have to understand that when you say not puggala, you say that everything that is other than puggala belongs to in that category. Okay? Logically, that is also a very large category. When you say you divide universe into, say, you say puggala and you say non-puggala. Now, if the universe is like this category has only one member. What is that? Puggala. This category has how many? Unimaginable amount of things has to be included here. Everything that is not puggala is here. Now, you know, in logically, this connection between this is like this relationship, you can see if something belongs here, then it doesn't belong here. If something belongs here, it doesn't belong here. So the relationship is what we call contradictory relationship, right? If you are puggala, then you are not puggala. And then if you are not puggala, then you are not puggala. Okay. So because the two classes don't come together. So now here you see the Paravadi's answer is very interesting. He says, known among the known things, some are puggala, some are non-puggala. So the puggala is also known, and there are. You can see the Paravadi, Sakavadi's question has a logical principle behind it. Paravadi's answer shows that Paravadi is aware of that logical principle. Okay. Now, this is what is interesting. The person is known conversely of that which is known. Some is puggala, some is not puggala. Then Sakavadi asks, does that mean that some puggala is known and some puggala is not known? Now, some puggala is known, some puggala is not known. Puggalo kehichi upalabbati kehichi na upalabbati iti na hevang vattabbe. And Sakavadi is, Puggalo kehichi upalabbati kehichi na upalabbati. So the translation is some puggala is known, some puggala is not known. Now what Paravadi says is among the known things, some is puggala and some is not puggala. But then the Sakavadi want to reconstruct it. Some puggala is known, some puggala is not known. Now again you can see the logical connection between what the Paravadi does is puggala differentiate from non-puggala. Okay? But then Sakavadi try to reconstruct it, non-Pudgala and not non-Pudgala. So he doesn't distribute this. He takes Pudgala and then he try to divide it non-Pudgala and not non-Pudgala. But the Paravadi want to say something is Pudgala, something is not Pudgala. But Paravadi want to say whether something is non-Pudgala and the other thing is not non-Pudgala. So you can see the shift of emphasis going on two different ways. So you have to really think carefully, because when I say that, Kathavattu has quite logical reasoning behind it, you have to see, ultimately, whole thing goes around, we can say, nothing on Paticca Samuppada or Four Noble Truths or anything like that. But, entire debate goes around pretty basic linguistic concept. But although they are basic, they are very logical. So if you don't know the limits of the concept, if you are not aware of the limits of these words, you are in trouble. That's why, so the Sakavadi asks some question, then Paravadi knows, okay, this is what he is asking. Then he says, among the things known, some are Pudgala and some are non-Pudgala. When you say non-Pudgala, everything else belongs to non-Pudgala. But then Sakavadi again try to reconstruct it. Among the things, some Pudgala are known, some Pudgala are not known. Now, if you accept that, then you have to say that there is a category of Pudgala which is not known. Now, for that, of course, if you accept that, then you have some other implications. So Paravadi doesn't want to go into that. So Vachana Sodhana is that. In the same manner, following assertions are tested with Paravadi. Does Pudgala mean a reality? And what is real is Pudgala. Now same thing. Does Pudgala continue to exist? Sangvidyamana, and that what continues is Pudgala. Puggalo Sangvidyamano, Sangvidyamano Puggaloti. Atti Puggalo, Puggalo Atti, Atti Puggaloti. Now same thing, Pudgala means reality. What is the Pali for that? Pudgala means reality. Puggalo Vidyamano, Vidyamano Pudgaloti. Puggalo Vidyamano, Vidyamano Kehichi Puggalo. Puggalo Sachikatto, Vidyamano, Puggalo Sangvidyamano, Puggalo Atti, Puggalo Atti. So you have these concepts. Does the Pudgala mean reality? Vidyamana, Sangvidyamana. So there is a distinction between Puggalo Vidyamano, Puggalo Sangvidyamano. Sangvidyati means continue to exist. Vidyamana is real. Then you have Puggalo reality, Puggalo Sangvidyamana, Atti Puggalo. Does Pudgala exist? And is what exists Pudgala? Now the same question is put in two different. Puggalo Attiti Amanta. Atti Puggaloti Nahevang Attabbi. Clear? Puggalo Sangvidyamano Amanta. Sangvidyamano Puggalo Nahevang Attabbi. Puggalo Vidyamano Amanta. Vidyamano Puggaloti Nahevang Attabbi. Now you see the meaning shifts. Meaning shifts in two different ways. Now this is basically what happens when we talk about Vachana Sodhana is in that sense not really the conceptual clarification of really the words, but of course it's more like the logical connection. So basically in logic we talk about distribution of terms and also conversion. Actually what I will do is I will give you a separate short presentation on conversion and distribution of terms, because that's important for us to understand these two logical terms. And this conversion and the distribution of terms have been exercise from Aristotelian logic from a very long time. But somehow or other in the Indian context, we did not develop these things as separate principles. But this Kathavattu discussion shows that, I mean, even by the time of Aristotle, even before that, Indian Buddhist tradition had these logical concepts, you know. But only thing is, these concepts were not articulated as logical principles. Now that is the issue. Otherwise, the logical principles have been there. What I will try to do is I will give you a different, short, maybe PowerPoint presentation or something on this thing. We will go to the next one. Paññattānu Yoga. Argument, just read the last paragraph, I'm sorry. The argument is concluded in the following manner. Sakavadi, Pudgala exists, all that exists is not Pudgala. Puggalo Atti na sabbo Puggaloti. Paravadi, yes. Sakavadi, Pudgala does not exist. That which does not exist is not all Pudgala. Puggalo Natti na sabbo Puggaloti. One should not say so. Now you see that's again very complicating language. Sakavadiyas, Puggala exists. All that exists is not Pudgala. Puggalo Atti na sabbo Puggaloti. So the question is Puggalo Atti. Pudgala exists. Atti na sabbo Puggalo. All that exists is not Pudgala. Now Paravadi says yes to it. There is no question about it, right? Because all that exists is not Pudgala, because there are many other things also exist. So Paravadi says yes. Then look at the next question of Sakavadi. Pudgala does not exist. Pudgala does not exist. Now if Pudgala does not exist, that which does not exist, not all Pudgala. Puggalo Natti na sabbo Puggalo. Natti na sabbo Puggalo. Natti na sabbo, all that which does not exist, Pudgaloti. Nahevang mattabbe. Now you know in that question implications is different. Puggalo Natti na sabbo Puggalo. So on the one hand, Paravadi doesn't want to accept the statement Puggalo Natti, right? So he would not say yes to it. But if you combine it with something else, then it has Puggalo Natti na sabbo. All that does not exist. Is that the Puggala? So in other words, you are asking the same question, Puggala doesn't exist. I mean, is that all that does not exist is Puggala is? Again, a linguistic turn. You mix up the language and you ask the same question in the negative manner, try to get the answer. Again, Paravadi is clever. He says, don't say so. But if you didn't understand this two negative, Natti na sabbo Puggaloti, then Paravadi says, don't say so. So look at leisurely the subtle meaning of this thing, because that is very important. Okay, I will wind up this session for this morning, but if you have any questions or comments you don't understand, we can have a few minutes of discussion.